up, guys? Welcome to Talk Chain. I'm Rob. Down below me is Matt.
Hey guys.
And today we're going to talk about the crypto market crashing completely, losses over 30% almost everywhere. We've had a little bit of a bounce back since then. We're also going to talk about Bitconnect closing its doors. And we're going to talk about Japan's largest bank to open up a cryptocurrency exchange. So let's just go ahead here and pull up crypto market cap. Um, Double-digit losses across the board. We've got Bitcoin is now at 11,000, but at one point dipped below 10,000 for a very short moment. Ethereum dipped under $1,000, and Ripple dipped under $1 for, again, a short period of time. But it's just red throughout. Matt, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, just what a disaster. I don't know. It seems like all last week we had like most of the days where we were down like a few percent, and then it bounced back a little bit, and we were all, we were okay. We were dealing with it, and then today is just a complete massacre. Everything's down. Everything's reaching like lows that we've never seen. But I think the one thing that we need to keep in mind is that like 2 months ago we were lower than where we are today. So the market really went bananas in the last like month or two. So just for perspective, I think I was telling you earlier in the day that the market cap of everything in December dipped down at the end of December to 422 billion, and we didn't
Right.
even go that low. So
Yeah.
I think the lowest we went a few hours ago was just under 500 billion. So we're still not even lower than we were in December. So, it really hurts because I've been buying all month, and I bought like dips last week, and I was telling everybody I bought some Bitcoin at like 14,000. So, it hurts, but this isn't as bad as everybody's probably making it out to be.
No, definitely. I think a lot of it is ego pain
Yeah.
because anyone who has invested from 3 months from now up until a week ago has made a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm still up overall. I'm sure you're still up overall. And most people should be, unless you're jumping in within the last 5 days or so, you should
Yeah.
be doing pretty well for yourself. Um, and that could have been in almost anything, and any coin that you randomly threw a dart at, you should be doing pretty well. Um, but yeah, today there's a little bit of a pullback. It's tough because no one really knows why it's happening. Um,
Yeah. And you know what? Fucking Wall Street. We had so much hope for the Wall Street bonuses, and look what they did to us. They just blasted us from behind, Rob.
yeah, no, and I don't know, it's super strange because there's some speculation that the CBOE futures are coming up on Thursday. So that might be a reason for a pullback, and
Oh,
people who think that it could like rocket on Thursday.
you mean the January contract
Right.
ends on? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So people think that that could be a reason for the pullback. There was an article that talked about how Bitcoin jumped from $150 to $1,000 based on only a couple of speculative traders who managed to pump it up to that amount.
Okay,
So there was a couple things, but there's nothing. There wasn't any actual news or any laws that were passed that would
right.
justify this sort of a drop.
Yeah, and
Um,
so I talked about this yesterday, and for people who tried to watch our video yesterday, I accidentally had my microphone off, so we went ahead and deleted the video, and it took us only 20 hours to realize that that's what happened, but hopefully it's not going to happen in the future, and I'm praying to God that when I'm talking right now that people can hear me. But yesterday I went on this spiel about fundamentals and holding. So I'm going to say it again, but basically, if there's a big drop or a big correction in anything, in an equity, in a cryptocurrency, you really need to ask yourself if there's anything fundamental that's actually changed in the thesis that you had when you bought the coin. So everybody should have an idea in their head of why they bought something and why they paid that price for it and what they think is actually going to happen. So if your thesis is true and there's a big dip in the coin, there's no reason why you shouldn't just buy more unless the thesis has changed. So nothing fundamental really has changed in this market. Maybe a bunch of people decided or realized that maybe the market was a little bubbly, and that's not been a surprise. Everybody's been saying that for the last month, and today just happened to be the day that everybody decided to jump on the selling ship.
Well, it's tough because it always ends up being a perpetuating cycle where it drops and people get scared, so it drops more.
Yeah.
And then people who were a steady hand, even though it had dropped twice already, they see it start to drop twice, and then they decide to sell.
Oh
So
yeah.
it kind of becomes a tidal wave
Yeah,
of
and that's market
negativity.
psychology, and that's but that's the name of the game. And the interesting thing about that, and I tweeted this earlier today from the account, is these are the buying opportunities that can make you a ton of cash. And Warren Buffett, as annoying as he can be when he's talking about crypto, even though he seems to be right today, his stupid quote about being greedy when others are fearful applies today, in my opinion. And there were a ton of buying opportunities everywhere. Even if you didn't like Bitcoin, some of the like Neo went back down to about one. It's at 121 right now, but tons of coins. Stellar is almost right back where it was before it pumped like about a month ago, and even
Yeah.
Ripple. Everything that all the partnerships that were announced from Ripple, none of that matters now anymore. So I think there's tons of buying opportunities today, and uh, nothing fundamentally has changed. So I don't see any reason why not to buy, even
No,
though.
I totally agree. I personally picked up some Icon myself
Mm-hmm.
ahead of their mainnet launch on the 24th, as well as a very, very small amount of Ethereum due to Coinbase's restrictions on on weekly deposits.
Oh
But
yeah.
making some moves myself, I haven't sold a single thing, and because I do believe that everything that I own will succeed in the long run. So
Yeah.
hopefully everything will bounce back to where it was. But it's good because I think it gets people who didn't necessarily know what they were talking about out of the market for now, and maybe they can come back and do a little bit of research next time before before deciding to get involved in something.
Well, and it's difficult. I found it relatively difficult to really value these coins because there's so much. We're so early in the development of the technology, and there's been so few that have actually like gone on to have applications. So we talk a lot about partnerships because that's the only thing that's actually been going on, but there hasn't been actual application. I mean, Bitcoin is sort of used now for transactions, and Ethereum is a platform for other coins, but we're still super early in this technology, and I think these kind of dips are very likely to happen, and they're going to happen in the future. So it's important to flex your holding muscles now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely honest. It's honestly the best thing to do is just to never look at it. Invest in the things that you think might be a good project, and never look at it ever again.
Well,
But
and the other
we
thing,
look at it every 10 minutes or so, so it
yeah.
makes it a little stressful.
Well, the other thing too, you need to ask yourself honestly whether or not you're being an investor or a trader when it comes to this stuff. So a lot of people like to think they can day trade and make a ton of money. Some people do. I've never been successful, but if you were to buy a bunch of Bitcoin today and not even today, but if you didn't buy any Bitcoin, sorry, the analogy I'm trying to make, if you bought Bitcoin in January of 2016 and you didn't look at it until today, you would still be up 10x. So
Yeah, you
all
would
of
shit your
this,
pants.
all of the stress and excitement about the dips and the highs, this would be an insane return to have had, even if you didn't realize that it went up to 20 grand. So I think being honest with yourself about whether or not you're trying to day trade or you're trying to be a long term holder is important to make it easier on yourself if you're looking at the charts every day.
Definitely. Well, it's tough because days like today feel like months. And you know who else is having a long day is Bitconnect.
Oh
They
yeah,
they are shutting their doors.
I can't
Um,
believe it.
I think a lot of people have been expecting it, and it was really kind of just a matter of time before it all kind of the house of cards kind of came falling down.
Yeah, so I don't think
So
we have actual details. I know they got a cease and desist letter from the state of Texas, and then our boy Crypto Nick told everybody to just get a VPN and go around the Texas government and just keep using BitConnect.
wow, wow,
But it seems like something's up, and them shutting their doors. They were gonna have an ICO for their like second stream Bitconnect X, and this
hmm
is gonna be an even greater bot or some bullshit. And they said, they tweeted yesterday, due to technical difficulties, the ICO on BitConnect X will be open today, and
really?
or will not be open today.
Oh,
So
will
it was
not be
planned.
open. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess you know I'm very curious to see how this actually plays out. But the
So, do
the
you know anything about BitConnect? Like, I personally, I've done very little research, other than hearing that it is kind of a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, so I watched a few videos on it, and it's basically they claim to have had a volatility bot that was proprietary technology that they had that essentially made money off of the volatility swings in BitConnect, which was the underlying. So they they claimed this, and nobody really validated it. But the one interesting thing about BitConnect was they had this affiliate program that made it insanely lucrative to get as many people as you could to sign up. So, Crypto Nick, who was a huge perpetuator of BitConnect,
Right.
he often shows his balances on everything, and it's on YouTube. You can check it out, and a lot of people have talked about it. But he had made almost about 800,000 off of just affiliate
Wow.
recruitment to his thing. So, and it didn't seem like there was really much technology behind it. So I don't know. That's the depth that I went into, because it just seemed like, I'm not going to waste my time spending too much research on something that's as sketchy as BitConnect.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things where if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate. So I believe what happened was they closed up shop and gave everybody their money back, but
Hmm.
they gave them their money back in BitConnect
Oh.
tokens. So everyone tried to sell at once. It resulted in a panic. So I believe it went. I think it went from like $400
Yeah.
to down to 36.12 right now is where we're sitting at. So we're
I'll pull it
down
up.
just an outrageous amount.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. That's rough.
84%, 85% today alone.
Yeah.
So it's pretty devastating. If anyone had a large amount of money in BitConnect, it's probably a horrible, horrible day. Um,
Well, so I wonder how, like, the affiliate payments, like a big whale in BitConnect. I wonder if it was all going to be paid in BitConnect.
well, I
Um,
think it would be, but I don't think at the time they weren't required to keep it in BitConnect, so they could like
right.
trade it for Bitcoin. Like they obviously it had a value, a USD value that it could be traded in,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it only sucks when that value drops 90%.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I think the one thing that's the most frustrating for me is that when these fraud cryptos actually get blown up, it makes the entire industry look shady. And the one thing that we want to do for any regulator that's paying attention is make it seem like this is a bunch of investment coming in to spur innovation in a new technology. And
Right.
if they see all these stories about fraud coming up, it's only going to entice regulators to put taxes, to put regulation on this shit and get involved. So, you
Well,
know,
it's tough. It's tough because, and it happens in every industry. It's
yeah,
not like
that's true.
this is the first Ponzi scheme to ever exist. So it does. There's pyramid schemes all over the place. So it's just unfortunate that it's such a hard crash, and it's likely to bring in some more regulation. maybe it'll be positive that there is some regulation, something to kind of fact check some of the things that these people are saying.
Mm, maybe.
Um, but yeah, I know it's overall it would be great if it could continue to be the Wild West out here, but I don't know yet.
I mean, so far it seems like it's policing itself. I would be happy if the government got its goddamn grubby mitts out of the pockets of anybody in crypto, but so Texas, but there's fraud laws, so there's already laws in the books. Then the state of Texas already gave them a cease and desist order, so it seems like the law is already working to prevent fraud. So
Right.
hopefully, it's not going to entice other lawmakers to do anything if they're already going to be controlled by the laws that are already on the books. But who knows? It's going to be regulated either way, as much as I don't want it to happen.
Definitely. Yeah, so moving on, we've got big news, and I'm surprised this wasn't touted more online. But Japan's largest bank is going to launch its own cryptocurrency exchange, and this includes a token. So the bank is Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group Inc., which is listed on the New York Stock Exchange under MTU. So I'll be interested to see if that actually increases, but it's actually the fourth largest bank in the world, and it plans to launch its own cryptocurrency sometime in this financial year, which I think it's that's huge news.
Yeah.
Um, even from an accessibility standpoint, where if you wanted to go to a bank and open an account and invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, whatever, it just gives access to a lot of people who wouldn't otherwise open up a Coinbase account or open up a Binance account or any other account.
Hmm. Yeah, that's super interesting. So, I mean, you heard about Kodak putting blockchain bullshit in their name and it's spiking crazy, right? And all these other
Yeah,
like iced tea companies.
yeah.
So, this company announces it, and today their stock it was up like 1%. It was no big deal.
Well, it's it's interesting. I'm not entirely sure what time it was announced. I'm sure there is some sort of
The
time switch.
the article on Bitcoin.com says it was like 8 hours ago, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The I
Yeah,
just think it's funny that if there's like a legit opportunity to be had here by a financial group like Mitsubishi UFJ,
yeah.
and then it's just not going to get pumped. But the Kodak and the Long Island iced tea stuff seem like legit ridiculousness. But this is actually super interesting.
Yeah, no, I think tomorrow it should happen. And the fact that the market's crashed is going to supersede everything. Nobody's going to talk about this. This couldn't have been announced on a worse day, but I think it could be good for people who are paying attention to this news. I'm probably going to buy this token just from the fact that it's a bank, fourth largest bank in the world, and they're going to have an exchange. Their token will be worth something almost immediately.
Yeah, so I'm reading it now though, and I wonder. Yeah, we're gonna see how the rollout actually has to come about because it says the new cryptocurrency will be pegged around one Japanese yen,
Hmm.
but it says not fixed in advance so as to bypass regulation regarding issuing and transmitting such private money in Japan. I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see because this is being reported on in by Bitcoin.com, and we'll see what actually happens when it gets announced. But definitely a bank in cahoots with an exchange or merging that together has a bunch of good potential because the one difficulty with a lot of these altcoin exchanges is they don't have financial backing, which is what the whole tether, which is the whole purpose of having the USD tether as a crypto, so-called crypto that's available.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the equivalent of JP Morgan getting involved and opening an exchange and having their own cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Obviously, we take it a little less seriously because it's Japan, but like Japan is a big market
Yeah.
uh, for these exchanges, um, and it's tough because we don't necessarily deal with these banks day to day. I've never heard of this bank outside of this article, even though it's the fourth biggest in the world. It's probably something I should know about. But
I never heard of it either, but
yeah, no, I'm interested to see where this all goes.
yeah, it's super interesting. And actually, I forget who I was listening to, so I can't credit the person who said this, but they were talking about how, um, oh, it might have been Crypto Investor. He's on YouTube. He's got
Hmm.
great videos. He was saying how he doesn't believe too much in Ripple because he thinks that banks are going to want to have their own technology or their own proprietary stuff to do their cross-border transactions. So, something like this, if it's technologically able to do cross-border transactions easier than the current technology, then this group is just going to use their own token and they're not going to bother with Ripple or the Ripple token or the Ripple network. They're not going to need to.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it's a great argument. But I think Ripple is probably so much further advanced than the banks would be
Yeah.
at this point. That's why I think they will more adopt their software than adapt just their token.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah,
even
that's
just
true.
yeah, maybe just even leasing out the software. But yeah, no, you're gonna see this all over the place with currencies that are trying to make quick transactions. If you think Visa and MasterCard aren't going to make blockchains, then you're really just kidding yourself. Like they're going to exist, and it's
Yeah.
really just a matter of time before they figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting when big companies actually start to compete with already established altcoins that are trying to get in the space. It'd be interesting to sit in those meetings right now and see what everybody's trying to think of doing.
Well, you're gonna see like engineers leaving these large altcoins and going to big companies for massive amounts of money
Yeah, it could
and
be.
and just leading projects. Like I can't see any reason why they wouldn't, besides the fact that they're probably already pretty rich from starting a cryptocurrency. But no, I think
Yeah,
it's going to be
yeah,
interesting for sure.
yeah. It's super. It's really funny because it's just such an opportunity where they're able to, if they're able to do a successful ICO, they can probably have a lot of FU money to any corporation that's trying to get them. But who knows how it's going to roll out?
Ooh, but imagine getting offered a piece of that like Visa coin.
That's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll give you a million Visa coin. That would be unreal.
yeah, yeah. It would be nuts.
Yeah. But I think that's it for today. You got anything else to add here, Matt?
That's it, Bob. Wrap it up.
All right. Well, that that's it for this episode of Talk Chain. Um, hopefully, everything will rally again tomorrow. Hopefully, everyone who's talking about the COE contracts was right, and we'll see a shift. But that's it for today. Have a good one.
Please like, subscribe, comment if you have anything to say, and use my referral codes if you don't have Binance or KuCoin account.
Right. Smash that subscribe button.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Take care.